Welcome to JSOM's Business Communication Center tutorial on cover letters and the items needed for the first paragraph. This tutorial will address how employers assess a job candidate's writing skills, the type of developmental pattern that the cover letter needs to take, the elements that go in the first paragraph, and the order of that information. Corporate America spends over $3 billion a year to fix the broken writing skills of its employees. So for that kind of an investment, they are using writing skill assessments as markers and gatekeepers. Markers to mark employees who have good writing skills to fast track them to promotion, and as gatekeepers to keep job candidates who do not have good writing skills out of their companies. Now, there are a number of documents they use to make these types of assessments. Of course, cover letters and resumes, still very high in popularity. But the employer knows that I can hire somebody to write those documents for me. So they look beyond those documents. They're looking at the LinkedIn profile, especially that about summary, and they're comparing that with the cover letter and resume. Does it look like the same person wrote all of these documents? Are they well written? Do they have errors? They've also gotten to where they ask online application questions. So if you ever applied for a job and had to answer a question such as why you want to work for that company or why you want to work in that job, or maybe what would you do in a certain situation, one of the things they're trying to do is assess your writing skills. And then finally, some employers will open up a brief email exchange with the job candidate and confirm that those emails are written well. So one thing that kind of underscores the importance of writing skills is the NACE list of most demanded skills. If you've listened to our resume videos, you're familiar with this organization. They list by employer demand what are the skills that are going to help you get a job. And in 2018, written communication was the #1 most demanded skill. Written communication has been in the top 5 for a decade. So that kind of tells you how important writing skills are to employers. Now, when we think about how to develop the cover letter, we have to understand that writing develops differently in different cultures. This diagram is over 50 years old, but it's still applicable today. In some Asian writing will develop, it will begin with a large general concept and kind of spiral around, almost addressing what it already did, but not quite, until it arrives at a very fine point. In some Semitic writing, the pattern will develop in one direction and then abruptly zig and then zag and continue this zigzag approach until it ends up going in the direction it started out in the first place. So these are very ancient cultures, and there are reasons that some of the writing develops in these patterns. But America is a new culture, and if we were to diagram what that looked like, it would look like this arrow, completely straight, no interesting spirals, no surprising zigs or zags. It's what we call linear development. So you can leave no questions in the reader's mind with linear development. If you went to high school in this country, you will remember your high school English teacher saying you have to answer all of those who, what, where, when, why, how, so what type of questions as you write. Busy professionals do not want any unanswered questions. They do not want to figure out what I'm talking about. I have to be upfront, direct, and make it clear. So sometimes we will have a student bring a document to us, and let's say it's 5 pages. We're on the second page and we see the survey, and we'll ask, okay, you've not mentioned the survey before and you don't say anything about the survey here. What survey are you talking about? And the student will say, oh, well, I give the details over on page 5. Well, maybe the details go on page 5, but on page 2, the writer has to tell the reader enough about the survey that there are no unanswered questions. Otherwise, we have breaks in that linear pattern of development. If we were going to diagram the first paragraph in linear development, it might look something like the tail on this arrow, where I tell the reader everything that's in the paper. You will also remember your high school English teacher saying every first paragraph must have the topic, the thesis statement, and the evidence. It's no different in business writing, although we don't usually use these terms. Instead, we say every first paragraph should have the topic or the subject, the main focus. This is the reason I'm even writing this. Why should you be interested? And then the main points, right? So there are some exceptions to this direct approach. Those exceptions would include if I'm delivering bad news. So if I'm telling the customer I'm not giving them their money back, I'm not going to put that directly in the first paragraph. I'm going to bury that in the middle of the second paragraph and couch it in very gentle language and maybe offer immediately a compromise. A donation letter. If I want you to donate $50 to a worthy cause, I'm not going to ask you right up front. I'm going to tell you the reason, support it by a story perhaps, and then ask you for the donation. And then brief email exchanges you have maybe with a coworker or supervisor. Often those are just a few sentences and they don't contain this type of development or need these elements in the first paragraph. So for your cover letter, the topic is going to be the job and of course me. I'm going to be peppered all the way through the cover letter. The main focus, that's going to be I can do it. That's what you want the reader to remember. And then the main points that you will write about, maybe you'll write about some academic projects that you have done, a job or leadership experience, all kinds of different things that you can address. In addition to those 3 elements, a cover letter has to have 6 more things in the first paragraph. The job posting location would be exactly where you heard about or found the job. Your education statement should include the university, the degree and major, and exactly the month and year you expect to earn that degree. And then your motivation statement, which is why you want the job. So that's 6 things in the first paragraph. Seems like it's going to be a really long paragraph, but it may not be as overwhelming as it seems at first. Here's an example of 5 of the 6 elements required in paragraph 1. Now, it's not a very well written first paragraph. The internship posted online is of particular interest to me because while completing my education, my academic project and work experience have prepared me for the position requirements. So it's got 5 of the elements. The subject is the internship or the topic. The posting location, posted online. We need to be more specific. Our education statement, we're missing a lot in our education statement here, but look, this is the first main point, an academic project. So the reader knows that paragraph 2 is going to be about this academic project. And then main point number 2, work experience. They're also going to talk about something they learned in their work experience. All right. Here's the focus, the main focus, have prepared me for the position requirements. Such a much gentler way to express I can do it than just saying I can do it or saying something like I'm the best candidate for the position, which is a bit prideful, right? All right, so too general, need specifics. Here's an improvement. The marketing internship. All right, now we know what internship we're talking about. Posted on ABC Company's website, exact posting location, is of particular interest to me because while completing my master's in marketing, which I will earn in May 2016, we're missing the university, that's all, an academic diversity marketing project. Okay, now we know a little bit more about what's going in paragraph 2. And my marketing internship at DEF Company have prepared me for the position requirements. So it's an improvement, still needs a few details though. And it's too long. We need to break this sentence up into maybe 2 or 3 sentences. All right, here's a great improvement. Let's go through it together. The subject, ABC's Fall 22 Marketing Internship. The subject is the job. Exact posting location on Handshake is exciting because I will complete my marketing bachelor's in May 2023 at the University of Texas at Dallas. So we've got all the elements needed in the education statement. So here's the main focus. This letter expands on 2 skills in my resume that may be valuable in the internship. Main point number 1, teamwork skills. I learned during a team project at DEF Company. Main point number 2, and communication skills I learned while working with Farsi speaking fellow students at UT Dallas. So this paragraph now has 5 of the 6 elements needed in paragraph 1. Note that main point number 1, teamwork skills, that's going to be the topic of paragraph 2. Main point number 2, communication skills, that's going to be the topic of paragraph 3. If you want to know more about how to tell stories about your teamwork and communication skills or whatever other skills you want to emphasize, listen to our storytelling video for cover letters. Note that it looks like this paragraph is pretty long, but at 11 points font, it's only 4 lines long. I do want to warn you not to copy the wording in this example. First of all, that's plagiarism. Second, when employers start to get a lot of letters with similar wording, they think all of these candidates copied from some example on the internet. They are not original writers, so don't copy. All right, we did not address motivation statements, but I want to leave you with this about motivation. Most of the motivation statements you will see online are poorly written. So here's an example. Finance is my passion because I want to minimize losses for borrowers and lenders. Nobody's going to believe you. ABC Company's mission statement aligns with my own values to offer the best customer service possible. These are not personalized. They do not tell the employer anything about why you are passionate about your major or your field. So they're boring, they're generic. The employer learns nothing. So I want to encourage you to listen to our video on the motivation statement, and if you have trouble with anything in your cover letter, to schedule appointments to see us. Now, finally, the order of the elements in the first paragraph. Typically, this is the order. Your writing may take a little bit different direction, so it may need to be adjusted a little bit. So the subject first, the job. You want to mention the job right off the bat and where you found it. Then you want your motivation statement. Almost always that's the third element, because it's the hook that captures the reader's attention, and you want to capture the reader's attention right up front immediately. That tends to flow very well into the motivation statement. This is the reason that I'm excited about finance, and now I'm getting my degree, right? And then finally, you want your main focus. You want to say that this education, this motivation has prepared you for the job. And then your main points, main point number 1 and 2, because that's addressing what's in the next 2 paragraphs. So you want that at the end of paragraph 1, right? Main point number 1, that's the contents of paragraph 2. Main point number 2, that's the contents of paragraph 3. All right. I encourage you to watch the other 2 videos, the motivation statement and the storytelling video. Remember also, you can get help at the BCC for resumes, LinkedIn, any written or verbal presentations that you have for your classes. And we do have a specialist in English as a second language. So if you're learning to speak English, you can get an appointment for that as well. To schedule an appointment, go to our website, bcc.utdallas.edu, and click on the button that encourages you to book an appointment. Good luck in writing your first paragraph. Write it, get that motivation statement started. Maybe you want to work on paragraphs 2 and 3. Schedule an appointment. We will see you at any point during your cover letter writing. Thanks, and come see us.